A circuit court judge gets terminally ill yet remains on the job. He drew a paycheck for years, even though he was no longer able to conduct hearings or issue rulings.
I-Team investigator Adam Walzer uncovers how the situation developed and why some say a resulting backlog in his courtroom led to justice denied.
He was a lawyer's kind of judge. He would let the lawyers try their case.
Hillsborough County Chief Judge Ronnie Figueroa describes his friend and colleague Judge Carl Henson, whose portrait now hangs in the county's ceremonial courtroom. Henson died December 3rd after a years-long battle with brain cancer. But some people with cases assigned to Henson's courtroom say they were not even notified he was sick.
In my case, there were no orders from Judge Henson whatsoever. I never had a single order issued by him.
Angela DeBose, who has a law degree, filed civil lawsuits seeking employment records and emails from her former employer, the University of South Florida.
My case is just languished. There were motions filed that were pending for long periods of time.
She says she heard rumors Judge Henson was incapacitated and hired a private investigator who confirmed Henson was no longer on the bench.
I didn't even know what he looked like. Is that crazy?
Lisa Martino says she faced similar frustration while trying to fight a foreclosure lawsuit after her father's guardian sued her for slander and won a $160,000 judgment.
I actually found that out through somebody on Facebook who saw my case, and they said, "Did you know Judge Henson is on medical leave with cancer?" I was like, I didn't even know that.
Chief Judge Figueroa recalls hearing about Henson's serious diagnosis shortly before Henson was transferred from family court into the civil division.
Right when he got assigned is when he got sick.
Was this in 2019?
I believe it was in 2019. I don't have the exact date, but I believe it was probably right around 2019.
During the 23 months Henson served in the Circuit Civil Division starting in January 2020, the state paid him $313,000. But we were not able to find a single hearing he attended or an order he actually signed. About 16,000 cases are filed in Hillsborough County Civil Circuit Court each year. And according to the clerk of courts, about 1,620 were assigned to Judge Henson's courtroom. Those cases include contract disputes, construction defects, car crash injuries, medical malpractice, and other cases in which damage claims are more than $30,000.
We then tried to use other judges on the floor to cover for him. Other judges would step up and fill in his docket.
There was like a Judge Taylor, there was Judge Barden.
And then when it became clear that he was going to be out for an extended period, we brought in senior judges.
Senior judges are retired judges, allowed to fill in on a part-time basis when judges are on temporary leave, away at conferences, or trying to clear a backlog of cases.
And at what point do you say, hey, this is a permanent senior judge in this division until there's another election?
I don't think it ever gets to that. I mean, my goal with Carl was I wanted him to get better and come back to work.
In one of the first cases assigned to Judge Henson after he was moved into the civil division, the docket has 78 entries filed by attorneys over nearly 2 years. But no orders were issued until December 8, 2021, 5 days after Judge Henson's death. This order was filed with the court 10 days after Henson died and appears to bear his signature.
And there was just a human error, a mistake made, and those auto-generated orders went out with Judge Henson's signature.
On the Hillsborough County Court Directory, Henson's page was still active in March 2022, notifying parties there will be no in-person hearings until further notice.
I would have hoped by now it would have been updated.
His name's right there on the Judiciary Directory. He continued to be assigned cases even after his death.
Records show more than 30 cases were assigned to Judge Henson on or after the date of his death. DeBose says she tried to get action long before Henson died.
I contacted the chief judge and said if he lacks capacity to rule or to decide these cases, you're required to involuntarily terminate or retire him. And I need a new judge assigned my cases.
DeBose says she didn't receive a reply.
Did those people get shortchanged in it?
No, I don't think so. You know, the litigants really don't get to choose who their judge is.
As sympathetic as it is when a judge is ill, what's most important is the administration of justice and the caseload and the parties.
Dr. Terry Day is a professor and associate dean at Berry School of Law in Orlando. She teaches a course in professional ethics and responsibilities.
Code of Judicial Conduct requires that judges and supervising judges that know that a judge is not capable of performing his or her duties must take reasonable measures to remove the judge.
So it was very unfair. It caused chaos, really.
We wanted him to come back to work. That was what our goal was.
Records show Judge Henson retained his salary, benefits, and a supplemental life insurance policy that paid out 3 times his $162,000 salary upon death.
He's not my employee. He's an elected constitutional officer. So yes, he remained on the payroll until his untimely passing.
I couldn't quarrel with being empathetic and, somehow helping the family or helping the judge. But you don't do it at the expense of litigants.
The judge has to perform the duties. The reasons why he or she cannot do not matter.
I'm I-Team investigator Adam Walser taking action for you.
The county's judicial nominating committee started the process of choosing a new judge to complete Judge Henson's term. The committee will submit recommendations to Governor DeSantis, who will choose his replacement in the coming weeks.